Chapter 3, Section 3, Founding the Middle and Southern Colonies. The main idea of this section is that the founding of the Middle and Southern Colonies provided settlers with many economic opportunities. Why does that matter today? Because America is still a place where immigrants seek freedom through economic opportunity. Some of our key terms and names we'll see throughout the section: Peter Stuyvesant, Patroon, Duke of York, Proprietary Colony, William Penn, Quaker, Royal Colony, and James Oglethorpe. You can find all of these terms and names defined for you in the notes through the Google Classroom. So the Middle and the Southern Colonies we'll be looking at will be the Middle Colonies, will be New York, Pennsylvania, your state of New Jersey, and Delaware. The Southern Colonies are Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. One American story. In 1624, the Dutch founded the colony of New Netherland, later New York, on the eastern coast of North America. Peter Stuyvesant, seen here with the peg leg, was the new governor and arrived in the city of New Amsterdam in May of 1647. Because of his rough manner, he lost the support of the Dutch colonists. In 1664, a British fleet ordered the city of New Amsterdam to surrender itself to British control. Unable to gain the support of the Dutch colonists, Stuyvesant surrendered. He then defended his decision to his superiors back in the Netherlands.
Powder and provisions failing and no relief or reinforcements being expected, we were forced, to come to terms with the enemy, not through neglect of duty or cowardice, but in consequence of an absolute impossibility to defend the fort. Peter Stuyvesant, quoted in Peter Stuyvesant and His New York.
In this section, you will read about the founding of the Middle Colonies, such as New York, and the Southern Colonies. The Middle Colonies. The Middle Colonies were New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. They were located between New England to the north and the Chesapeake region to the south. So, simply by look here, this is our New England region, which we've already studied, right? And the Chesapeake Bay region, right, would be in this blue area down here. Chesapeake Bay. It's again down here. Okay. Swedes, Dutch, English, Germans, and Africans were among the groups who came to these colonies. Religious freedom attracted many groups, including Protestants, Catholics, Quakers, and Jews. The Hudson and Delaware rivers supported shipping and commerce. The river valleys had rich soil and mild winters. These conditions were favorable for farming and raising livestock. New Netherland becomes New York. In 1624, Dutch settlers, financed by the Dutch West India Company, founded the colony of New Netherland. New Netherland included the Hudson River Valley, Long Island, and the land along the Delaware River. To attract more settlers, the Dutch West India Company employed the patroon system. A patroon was a person who brought 50 settlers to New Netherland. As a reward, a patroon received a large land grant. He also received special privileges in hunting, fishing, and fur trading on his land. In the early years, many different kinds of people settled in New Netherland. 23 Jewish settlers arrived in 1654, and others soon followed. Later, Africans were brought to the colony as slaves and indentured servants. Many Puritans also came. Peter Stuyvesant, the colony's governor, wanted to add land to New Netherland. He attacked the nearby charter colony of New Sweden in 1655. This colony was located along the Delaware River. The main settlement was Fort Christina, later named Wilmington, Delaware. It had been settled by Swedes in 1638. After an attack by the Dutch, the Swedes surrendered Fort Christina. England's King Charles II, pictured here, decided that his brother, the Duke of York, should drive the Dutch out of New Netherland. The Dutch colony was a threat to England because of its trade. It was also a threat because of its expanding settlements and its location. There were English colonies in New England to the north and Virginia to the south. As you have seen, when the Duke's ships appeared off New Amsterdam in August of 1664, the colony surrendered. New Netherland became the proprietary colony of New York. The Duke of York was now the proprietor or owner of the colony. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. The Duke of York had become the largest single landowner in America. He gave part of his claim, the province of New Jersey, to his friends, Sir George Carteret and Lord John Berkeley in 1664. This is Berkeley, and this is Carteret. They encouraged settlers to come by promising freedom of religion. They also promised large land grants and a representative assembly. William Penn, pictured here, became another large landowner in America. Born into a wealthy English family, Penn joined the Quakers to his father's disapproval. The young Penn was attacked for his Quaker beliefs. King Charles II owed the Penn family money. In repayment, in 1681, he gave William a large piece of land in America that came to be called Pennsylvania. The name means Penn's Woods. Penn used this land to create a colony where Quakers could live according to their beliefs. Among other things, the Quakers believed that all people should live in peace and harmony. They welcomed different religions and ethnic groups. In Pennsylvania, Penn extended religious freedom and equality to all. He especially wanted the Native Americans to be treated fairly. In a letter to them in 1681, Penn said, "May we always live together as neighbors and friends." Penn's policies helped make Pennsylvania one of the wealthiest of the American colonies. Many settlers came to Pennsylvania seeking religious freedom and a better life. In 1604, Penn granted the 3 lower counties of Delaware their own assembly. The counties later broke away to form the colony of Delaware. The Southern colonies. The new Southern colonies were Maryland, the Carolinas, and Georgia. The Appalachian Mountains bordered part of these colonies in the west, as you can see here. In the east, the colonies bordered the Atlantic Ocean. The soil and climate of this region were suitable for warm weather crops such as corn, indigo, rice, and tobacco. Maryland and the Carolinas. Lord Baltimore established Maryland in 1632 for Roman Catholics fleeing persecution in England. To attract other settlers besides Catholics, Lord Baltimore promised religious freedom. In 1649, Maryland passed the Toleration Act. Maryland based its economy on tobacco, which required back-breaking work. Every 3 or 4 years, the tobacco crop used up the soil, and workers had to clear new land. Most laborers came as either servants or slaves. Maryland attracted few women as settlers. In 1663, Carolina was founded as a colony. English settlers from Barbados built Charlestown, later called Charleston, in 1670. They busied themselves cutting timber, raising cattle, and trading with the Native Americans. After 1685, Charleston became a refuge for Huguenots, who are French Protestants that were seeking religious freedom. Pictured here is a French Protestant, a Huguenot, being tortured and persecuted by Catholics in France. So this is a major reason why they wanted to leave France for religious freedom in the Carolinas. Carolinas colonists needed laborers to grow rice and indigo. The English settlers encouraged the use of enslaved Africans. They also sold local Native Americans into slavery. As a result, wars broke out between the settlers and the Tuscarora and Yamasee tribes. The settlers, taking of tribal lands, also fueled the wars. Carolina's proprietors, or owners, refused to send help to stop a threatened Spanish attack on Charleston. Because of this, the colonists overthrew the colony's proprietary rule in 1719. In 1729, Carolina became a royal colony. Then it was ruled by governors appointed by the king. The colony was divided into North Carolina and South Carolina. Georgia. In 1732, James Oglethorpe founded Georgia as a refuge for debtors. You can see James Oglethorpe pictured here. The English government wanted to use the colony as a military outpost against Spanish Florida to the south and French Louisiana to the west. In 1739, During a war between England and Spain, the Spanish tried to force the English colonists out of Georgia, but were unsuccessful. English, German, Swiss, and Scottish colonists settled in Georgia. All religions were welcome. As the colony's leader, Oglethorpe set strict rules that upset the colonists. The king, in response to the unrest, made Georgia a royal colony in 1752. By the early 1700s, there were 13 English colonies along the eastern coast of North America. In our next section, we will read about how these colonies developed. Main ideas that you should understand at the end of this video. First, what were the goals of the patroon system? Second, what 3 middle colonies offered religious freedom? And finally, what were the 3 crops grown in the southern colonies as a majority? We'll see you in class tomorrow. Make sure you respond to the questions and notes that are provided for you in your Google Classroom. And once again, we'll see you tomorrow.